Google Pest Control Marketer. Grow your business like never before. Call 770-993-0004.
Well, hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of Pest Control Marketing Live, the only live streaming internet TV show totally devoted to showing PCOs and WCOs how to get more new customers, increase their sales, and grow their businesses. And I'm here, as always, with my sidekick, my partner in crime, my mentor, the ever-present, effervescent, always pleasant, Mike Stewart. How you doing, Mikey?
Oh, Hal. And you said the live TV show. This is a process that we help folks with, that we do ourselves. It's called content marketing. In other words, we're doing a live stream of video to where people can come live and interact. But more importantly, we're repurposing that content, and this becomes our podcast. So those of you listening to this audio, if you were to come live, you get to see our smiling faces and our guests' smiling faces and visuals and all kinds of things that you can see because it's television. But we're also getting into the podcast world. The podcast world's bigger than it's ever been, and it's all part of Mr. Allline's strategy of content marketing that you have so embraced, my good friend Hal Coleman. So yes, it's great to be here for another episode. I look forward to these shows. I love telling my podcast friends, they say, so what's your podcast about? I said, about marketing pest control, helping bug guys kill more bugs. And they go, no, really? I said, yeah. They said, how in the hell can you turn that into anything? Well, let's tell them how we turn it into anything.
Well, see, here's the exact opposite of that. I'm a bug guy. And I tell people I'm doing a live streaming podcast. They say, no, really?
I don't even think you know what you said.
Yeah. So, but that podcasting is something that we teach our clients. And I think we had our guest Fred Talley on a couple of weeks ago, and he said he just had gotten a call from somebody who had listened to wanted him to come out and treat their house for termites. They had been online, found this podcast episode on termites, and so does it work? Yep, it works.
Yeah. If anybody ever really wanted to know the science behind it, Google Gary Vaynerchuk, Vaynerchuk, Gary Vaynerchuk, one of the leading social media experts in the world, and it's based on his content model, and it's all about the internet is content hungry. Great content rises to the top. No content goes nowhere, and there's only two ways to be found on the internet. It's with great content or paid advertising, and that's what we help our clients with. But anyway, talking about our clients, why don't you go ahead and talk about today's show?
Oh, I am so excited about today's show. We have a guest who is a longtime PCO. He's from down at Port St. Lucie, Florida. And he's been in my coaching program for about almost exactly a year now. And he's a great guy. It's a family-owned business. And he's here to share some stories of his successes and his struggles getting his business on the growth track. The name of his company is Ben's Pest Control, and his name is Ben Sell. So let's bring Ben on and welcome him to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ben. How are you, sir?
I am well. Yourselves?
I'm doing great. Excited to have you on the show today.
I'm excited to be here.
You and I have, I know that you have, and I think you have, and I hope you have learned a lot and had some successes from our coaching calls, but we always have fun on our coaching calls.
Yes, we do.
We do, and that's a big priority for me. And I tell prospects up front, we're going to have fun when we doing our coaching. And but anyway, if you wouldn't mind, just tell the viewers and the listeners a little bit about Ben and how you got into the pest control business.
Well, I got into pest control back in 1994, When I moved to Florida from Wisconsin, my father had been working for a pest control company, and I went down and he said they had some openings, and I interviewed and got the job. And one of the things that I was told was that there's never a shortage of work in pest control. No matter how many bugs we kill, there's always more bugs than we can kill. And coming from an industrial area where there's a lot of factories, that was a very exciting endeavor to think that I would probably never be laid off or put out of work, because no matter what, people were going to need to have their bugs killed. And so I started working for one company in Orlando, and as a single person, I kind of moved all around the state working with another company. And I was in Orlando, I was in Tampa, I ended up in Naples, eventually ended up in Fort Lauderdale, where I met my wife. We got married and then decided it was time to settle down. So we moved to Port St. Lucie, and I started my own company in 2003 and went, here we go, ready or not, I'm going to do this, and took off from there.
So you got almost you got it eight or 9 years in. No, 2003, you said, not
2003 I started.
almost 20 years. Yeah.
Yep.
Almost. Good. Well, so I know that you've been successful. I know you have a great company, great work ethic, great service. And what was it that after all those years that led you to after almost 20 years or 18 years that led you to the point where you felt like you needed some guidance growing your business and maybe thought about hiring a coach?
Well, Hal, as a guy who did pest control, I understood how to kill bugs. I understood how to work with customers. I understood all that, but the actual growth of a company, to take a company from where it was at, there's a lot of information that's behind the scenes stuff that you don't see with a big company. And so I didn't know how to do that. So I made a lot of mistakes. I mean, to say I made a lot of mistakes is to put it minorly. I know you and I spoke about this. I think one of my favorite stories was I had hired a website company one time out of California that convinced me, as they all say, we'll get you to the top of Google, just hire us and we'll get you there. And I remember very specifically, I was paying them about $200 to $300 a month to build my website. They were doing some YouTube commercials, and they were promoting my website, they said. And after a month or two, you call up and you say, well, I can't find me. I don't know where I am on Google. I have no clue. And they're always saying, well, it takes time. You got to be patient. So I remember after almost a year, I was talking to one of my clients. I said, I'm really frustrated. I can't even find my listing on Google. I can't find anything. And my client had told me there's a website checker. You can go into Google and check your website to see how it's performing. And I went on there and I found out that they had wrote my website with something called robot text, and Google had completely banned me. I wasn't able to be found on anything in Google, and I'd been paying this company for a year. So needless to say, I was pretty upset. And I called the company and I said, listen, I don't know what you guys have going on. And they're like, well, what do you want from us? And I said, well, I think you should give me the next year for free. I've paid you for a year and you've done nothing. And they pretty much told me to go take a hike, and they cut my website off and shut me down. And I was like, just an example of you just don't know, and you're trusting people who have, no necessarily credentials. They've talked to you on the phone and you get sold into something.
Yeah, I hear that so many times. That story is just replayed over and over again out there. Not just in pest control, but small businesses in general. So that's if the internet if Al Gore had invented the internet back when I was starting out in business, I would have probably fallen victim to some of the same thing. As a matter of fact, I kind of did. I had a guy call me one day and said, look, and this was before I had a computer. He said, look, I've got a computer. I just upgraded and got a new computer. You want my old computer? And we'd been talking about buying a computer. I said, yeah, I'd love to have it. So guy brings me this computer, and it's one of these, it's shaped kind of like E.T.'s head, if you know what I mean. It was a big deep, heavy thing. And so then there was a guy in the Chamber of Commerce that I knew was a computer guy and a tech guy and a webmaster, I guess. And I said, look, I got a computer and I need you to come help me, show me how to use it. And so he comes in, looks at it. And he said, what do you want to do with this thing? I said, well, I just want to use it to help me with my business. And he said, well, it was kind of like this. I got an appointment I got to get to, but I'll get back with you, okay? So the guy never returned my phone calls after that. Didn't even avoided me like that, because I think he looked at that thing and thought it was so obsolete. It would be like you calling Mike with a transistor radio, and you wanted Mike to help you figure out how to get it up and running and record with it, And we've all got stories where we just can't hear you, Mike.
I mute my microphone so that you don't have to hear me coughing and all kinds of things.
There you go.
No, I used to speak at a lot of internet marketing seminars, and Hal and I have been friends for so long. I used to tell people and show a picture of Hal on stage, and I said, if you go to Wikipedia and you look up technophobe, there's a picture of Hal Coleman. And I said, if this guy can master the internet, anybody can. That used to be my joke, because he used to say, I'll learn the internet when you learn to skin a possum. But here I'm going to, Ben, you gave a great story that was about your online experience, and I've been working with you about as long as Hal has, and of course we will touch on some of the things that we've improved with you. But I'm curious, and I think the listeners are curious. Hal, talk about some of the offline things that you and Hal, you and Ben have worked on that you weren't doing before, that you've seen a tremendous result from. That's the thing.
Oh, you mean me talk about him or Ben talk about him?
Let Ben talk about it, because
Ben talk about him. Yeah.
I mean, because I'm sitting here thinking, I love it when people talk about the online stuff, but if we did online stuff, I could do this. I could just take Hal out of the show and just be me and you, Ben. But I'm not going to do that. I'll put Hal back in the show because this is a yin and a yang partnership. I don't know the years and years of owning a pest control agency that Hal does, and all the little things that he used to do that built his business. So you talk about that a little bit.
Well, I think it was Hal was asking what prompted me to look for a coach. And what happened was, after a bunch of these mistakes kind of escalate and you realize that you don't know anything, at least for me, the light came on when I realized I needed to start finding references for these companies. I couldn't just hire people blindly. And so the references for me were a huge, huge deal. And Hal offered his book, and it was free. And he sent me the copy of the book. And one of the things with Hal's website and Hal's book was, not only did he have the people's statements of experiences that they had, he had a phone number. So I could call these people and say, hey, you don't know me, but I'm this little guy in Port St. Lucie, and I'm thinking about hiring Hal to grow my business. So, those references were vital for me to stop making the mistakes I had made in the past. And so that's what got me to Hal. Now, when you talk about some of the successes with Hal, I mean, Hal opened my eyes to a lot of things that we weren't doing and needed to do to grow the business. Before I hired Hal, most of our business was grown by referrals. And I like to tell people that with Hal, one of the things that was very difficult for me to accept was, Hal asked me, why should I hire you? And I think I had the generic answer that he had to get me to open my eyes. Well, you know what, Ben, that's great, but every company feels the way you feel, that they're the best and they do this and they do that. What are you doing that's going to be different than those companies? Because you're not going to bring in company A, B, and C and have one of them say, oh, you know what, we really stink and you really shouldn't hire us in general. They're going to lie and say, we think we're the best, or they're going to say what they want to say to try to sell a person on their service. So, there was some ego, I think, involved in that, because in my heart, I believed we were the best. But Hal had to help me realize that, there are things that you have to do to get people to understand how good you are. And one of the things that Hal did for me was we do a lot of what you all call termite letters, or we call them wood destroying organism reports. And these are all potential clients for us. And so Hal helped us come up with a system to communicate with the people after the inspection was done, to follow up with them, and to use that as an avenue to get more business. And one of the examples I like to use is Hal said, offer them a free exterior spray because they used the realtor they used. And we were like, at first I was a little resistant to that. I'm like, free, whew, that word free as a business owner, that just means more money I'm putting out of my pocket for potentially no work. And it's a little scary, but I'll give you an example. I call them every week. And a couple of weeks back, about a month ago, I told Hal, I called all the people I had done 1 month earlier, and I sold nobody, doing it my way. And then the next week I used Hal's script, and we had 4 people to call. We ended up selling 5 services out of the 4 people. We sold one guy's new house, his old house as a rental, and then the other 3, just offering them the free exterior spray, which we knew wasn't going to cost us a whole lot. And then when Hal talks about the lifetime value of the customer, it was like, holy smokes, doing it my way is not the way. I've got to accept the scripts. I've got to work the scripts because they're there to help me. And that's just one example of many.
But you see, now that's the kind of stuff, Hal, that I never get to hear about, because, you're doing all this coaching with the Bens of the world. And see, I've known you all these years, and I don't even know how many scripts you've got. But see, that's the magic of it, is all those years and years of experience, because Hal was building his pest control business before there was an internet. I'm the knucklehead said, Hal, you need a website. Well, I need a website for it. I said, well, might get some more leads. I don't know. Let's give it a shot.
Mike, I'm pretty sure
when you built me my first website for my pest control business, Lord knows how many years ago.
20 plus years ago, I bet.
I didn't know anybody, small companies like me, that had websites, and you were miles ahead of back in those days, and so we built a website, and I got a call one day. Dunwoody, Georgia, over here north of Atlanta, is a real ritzy section. I mean, it's always been like the filet mignon of North Atlanta's Dunwoody. And I got a call one day, and this has been 25 years ago, longer than that, maybe closer to 30 years ago. I got a call from a guy, and he said, listen, I got a property over in Dunwoody. I live out of state, but I got a property over in Dunwoody. It doesn't have a house on it, but it's got a little pond on it. And the neighbor, landowner, contacted me, said there's a beaver over there, and it's just chewing up, just tearing the place to pieces. And you do that? I said, yes, I do. And he said, well, how much do you charge? I told him how much I charged. He said, well, I don't have a problem with that at all. He said, he told me where there was a key to the gate to get into this place. And he told me where the key was hidden. And he said, I'm going to be over there this weekend. He said, I'll leave you a check in a Ziploc bag underneath this rock. He told me where it was going to be. I said, so that's great. I said, so let me get this straight. Just for my own curiosity, I said, you don't know me. You've never met me. You don't even live in this state. And you're hiring me to go over to your property, and you're paying me ahead of time with a check. You're prepaying me to do this. I said, this is great. But I just said, why? I don't run into this very often. Why are you willing to do this? He said, oh, well, because he said, I looked you up on the internet, and he said, you've got a website. And he said, I know anybody that's got a website is not a fly-by-night company. He said, so I feel perfectly comfortable doing business with you because you have a website on the internet.
Well, and if you remember how
that was my first experience with internet marketing, there it was.
But if you remember, my forte back in those days was I was helping people do video online. And one of the things I insisted you do is you came over to my house and we shot a homepage video, and basically your website was about a 1 or 2 page website. There wasn't a lot there, but I'll guarantee you that man, he probably didn't think to mention it, but he might have watched the video and started building a relationship and a connection with you that made him, and we called it the know, like, trust factor, that images, stock photos, pretty websites that, these designers want to sell these high-end, what I call millennial websites. Sorry to any millennial listeners, but the younger people think that's what works. But at the end of the day, what works is building a trust relationship with a customer. And that's why the power of video, that's why YouTube is the biggest search engine in the world next to Google, and Google owns it. They don't do YouTube videos because they think it's cute. They do it because people search it for content. It can be entertainment, but like the other day, I needed to know how to do something or wanted to research something. And so marketers look at YouTube as a search engine, not as a cutesy video place. So that comes to another thing. When you did that homepage years ago with me, and we had Ben do this right from the get-go. One of the first things I told you to do, Ben, is shoot a video. And you'd be surprised how many people, I don't want to do a video. I don't want to get in front of the, I don't want, it's like.
Now, Ben didn't say that, but some people do.
But I'm just saying some people do. It's and that's why I wanted to document it here. One of the things I loved about you, Ben, you said, okay, I'll get it done. I'll get it done. You stood out in front of your truck and you did a really good job of doing your elevator speech. Did Hal teach you about elevator speeches? Did he coach you on what to say in your video? I mean, how did that happen?
Yeah, I guess you kind of said that Hal is the script guy. I firmly believe Hal has a script for his scripts, and he just follows it, and he's teaching us how to follow it. So yeah, when we put together the video, he definitely helped us on what we needed to say and what needed to go on there, and it has made a world of difference.
Yeah, I had a client that I meet with monthly, and this has been back a couple of years ago, and he said, I said, well, how'd it go this last month? Give me an update of what's going on, your successes. He said, well, he was tracking everything. He said, I had 12 termite leads come in, and he said, I sold 7 of them. I said, you sold 7 of them? How come you didn't sell more than that? That's not good. You just sold 7? I said, look, we got a problem here. So let's see what we can, and what we determined, what he freely admitted was, he said, well, I get out there and I get sidetracked and I don't use my script. And he said, sometimes when I get back in the truck to leave the house, I say to myself, golly bums, I forgot to use my script. He said, I'm just ADD and I get sidetracked. I said, so look, I want you carry a clipboard around when you're doing an inspection. I want you to write put a sticker on the top of the clipboard that says, stay on script. And I want you to write it on a piece of masking tape and put it on the dashboard of your truck. So stay on script. And when you get to a house, I want you to look at that on the dash, and I want you to look at it on your clipboard. So the next month we met, I said, well, how'd you do this week? He said, well, I had 8 termite leads come in and I could close 7 of them. I said, what's the difference? He said, I stayed on my script. So, the script, for those who may be I hear people sometimes, I hate scripts. I don't use them. I hate scripts. I hate it when somebody gives me a scripted sales presentation. Well, if you knew it was a scripted sales presentation, then somebody did a piss poor job of delivering that script, or either probably a combination of that, and it was really well written. Because if you've got a good script and you deliver it, but nobody would ever in a million years dream that it was a script. But the script is like the combination to a safe. I've got my gun safe over here in the corner, and it's got a combination, and that combination is guaranteed to open that thing every time if you use it correctly. But if you mess with the numbers, I can't get the door open. Well, what numbers did you use? 35, 21, 40. I said, no, 35, 21, 41. Well, 40, 41, one number can't make that much difference, but it can. And one word, Mark Twain said the difference between the almost right word and the right word is like the difference between a lightning bug and lightning. So when you're trying to open that buying vault in somebody's subconscious mind and have them swipe a credit card, there's a certain combination of words and phrases and in a certain order that will get that done almost every time. And if they're going to buy from somebody, wouldn't you rather them buy from you?
Oh yeah.
So it's worth the effort, isn't it?
So Ben, I got a question for you, buddy. What are things that come to mind that you can see a difference either in the offline world or online world, and what kind of changes has it made to the growth of your business?
Well, everything. Hal has a saying that it's 1,000 little things. So there are some things we've done that have made bigger impacts, and then there's little things that all add up to a sale here or there. So you talk about like online, the videos we've made where we just discuss things like sealing up a house or discuss a specific pest. The videos that I thought were, before I would have been like, no, I wouldn't have done this. But I mean, I've had clients who have seen those videos on YouTube, and I've showed up to the house and they look at me and they're like, "You're the guy in the video." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just a bug guy." And they've seen the video and now they've called, and in some of those cases, the people watch the video and listen to what you had to say. And I mean, they're virtually sold. Like Hal said about the guy in Georgia, some of these people are sold before you even step on their property, because they just, they believe in you, they hear what you have to say, and they know what you're doing. That's one example. And then, just the things Hal has had us change on, the things, way we answer our phone. I mean, my daughter answers our phone and she talks to the people and answers the phone in a way that, I mean, I got people calling me up going, "We love to call your office because she's so chipper and she's so happy." And nowadays you call most companies and it's just like, oh my gosh, are they going to be mad at me? Are they going to answer the phone? And if they do answer the phone, am I going to get nothing but attitude? So there's so many little things that we had to clean up and get changed. As far as the results, I talk to Hal on a regular basis, and I believe this year we will double our business. We've not had a month where we've had less than 26% growth. Was our slowest month this year. And our best month, we did 74%. So it's been on fire for us, just making the little changes and then still trying to implement some of the things. I'll be honest with you, last week was the first time I went and talked to my neighbors and introduced myself and handed out business cards just to my neighbors in my building.
Well, that's the kind of news that I love to hear, is because we know from experience that the 1,000 little things, there's 1,000 little things online and there's thousands of little things offline. And it's just, if you don't implement as many of those as you can, the thing we're all fighting is you've only got so much time, and you get busy, and it's easy to be tired and procrastinate, but you just have to keep coming back. That's one of the values, that even if a month goes by and you don't get everything done, that's a good note of, it would be really easy, like most internet marketing companies, and but not a coach, but internet marketing companies, they bill you every month and they send you an email report, but there's no one-on-one. What I love doing on my online business, and what Hal does, is I want to hold you accountable. Hey, what's going on? What don't you like? What do you want to change? Why can't we try this? It's that, oh God, I got to meet with Hal and Mike, or it's going to be like going to class and you didn't do your homework. And
Right.
We'll forgive you, but if you don't have that accountability, 6 months will go by, and that's why, when the 1,000 little things start disintegrating. So it's well worth it to have, every successful person I've ever met in my marketing world, I know Hal as well, have all got coaches. Not that they don't know things, it's the accountability. And like I have a client that I've been meeting with literally, Hal, Bill and Narup out in Sedona, Arizona. These people have met with me every month for the last 10 years. And one of the things he sends me a laundry list of things he wants to go over in his coaching call. And he ends every email with anything new. I can always remember from Bill, his name was Bill, anything new. So, there's always things new. When we started, there was no Google My Business. When I started, YouTube, when I started, there was no YouTube. It's amazing how many things have developed. There were no cell phones when we started. 96% of the world finds you on a cell phone. So I love it when a PCO says, I say, what are you doing for marketing? And how you guys can go off on this one. Well, pretty much word of mouth. Discuss. Word of mouth.
Well, I hear a lot of people say, and I've even seen some posts, on the some of the pest control groups, even in Pest Control Marketing Go, where we talk about marketing, and somebody will say, well, all you got to do is take care of your customers. If you take care of your customers, they'll take care of you. You won't have to worry about anything else. Well, that's taking care of your customers is one of those 1,000 things. But if you take care of your customers properly and you do a lot of the other 1,000 things, you're going to have a whole lot more customers to take care of, because providing great customer service is mandatory. You can't survive without, but it's just one of those things. And so a lot of the people who say, well, if you just take care of your customers, they'll take care of you. You don't want, those are one-man operators, and they not looking to double the business next year. And so, and that works. And there is no right or wrong. There is nothing in the world wrong with being a one-man operator. I was one for when I started out. It's a fun place to be, but some people decide that that's where they want to stay, and other people decide they want to move beyond that and have employees. My goals, I'll be honest with you, when I started out, I was a one-man operator. It was a great experience. I loved it, but I found that I was spending all day, every day out there killing bugs, and my poor, bless her heart, my poor golf clubs and fishing poles and shotguns were so lonely. They hadn't seen me in a long time, and I said, I got to do something about this. And the only way I can do it is I got to have employees. So I spent the last years that I had my business, I was rarely in the office, but I was out there doing the things that I love to do. I have too many hobbies, I really do, and I wish I didn't have as many, but that's just something else pops up and there's another hobby. But nothing wrong with being a one-man operator. It's a great place to be, and it can be very lucrative, and especially if you take care of your money. But not everybody wants to stay a one-man operator. So if you want to grow that business and get it on a fast track and end up in the point where you're speaking in terms of millions of dollars instead of thousands of dollars, you can't really do that as a one-man operator. And you have to do more things than simply just take care of your customers. You have to market yourself. You have to learn how to reach masses of people, online and offline, that don't know who you are, and persuade them that if they have pest control needs, you're the person that they need to be talking to, not those other guys out there, because you're different. You're an orange and everybody else is an apple. And you want to find a lot of people who are eating apples and give them an orange and let it blow them away and talk about all the ways oranges are better than apples. And now they're saying, you're right. You're right. I want oranges. I want oranges. I'm done with the apples. Where can I get an orange? And you're like, well, you can only get them from me. Well, and so that's the secret.
Well, word of mouth is one of the thousand little things, but it's not enough. If you depend on word of mouth, you're at the mercy of what happens that day. You have no control of it. Are you hiring more folks and growing since we started, Ben? I mean, I think I heard you say you were getting people to help you.
Yeah, we last year when we hired, started with both of you all. We had myself, Hannah, and one other gentleman, and we've added 2 more since.
So it's a numbers game. You know, you market, you get more leads, you get more customers, you get lifetime value of customers, and then you get good people. You know, one of the frustrations I've heard, Hal, is like we got a couple of customers turn the leads off, tone them down a little bit because I'm having trouble finding the people. And that's one thing Hal helps with, is how to find good people, how to manage good people. That's the world I don't understand. You guys want to talk about, what a difference that's made, Hal?
Well, let Ben talk about it because he's had firsthand experience with it this year. I don't have any employees.
Well, you did, but you know how to, you have the experience. But
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Well, back when I was there, it was easy. You know, everybody wanted to work, and if you had a job opening, you were going to have people applying and showing up. It's changed a lot, and over the last 20 years. So, Ben, why don't you share with us some experiences you're having with finding and hiring good employees?
Well, and I think part of what maybe Mike is saying is that, Hal even helped us with our I would call it a script, but our want ad for hiring a person and what we wanted to put into it and what we put out there. And there's a lot of people out there who are applying for jobs, but finding somebody who's actually serious about working is a whole different thing. We did have a gentleman we hired, and he didn't last very long. But we've been blessed since working with Hal to narrow down. And this last time we ran the ad, we had a lot more resumes come in. We had a lot more opportunities for interviews. And sometimes the scary part is you set up the interviews and people don't even show up. You talk to them on the phone and they say they're interested, but then you tell them a little bit about what you do and they don't even give you the courtesy. But we've been blessed. We have found some great people and put them on the road. And so far, the people that Hal has helped us with, our customers love them. We get reviews from them, and they name them by name. So we've been very pleased, and we'll keep working that system.
And also, I'd like for you to share and. I'm limited in time this morning, Mike, because I have a coaching call coming up, but I may have to duck out if y'all keep going. But I have Ben, talk about the difference having lots of 5-star reviews has made in your business.
Well, when we started again, I believe we had 4, and we're up to, I believe, 86 or 88 now. And the difference in the reviews has been night or day. I talk about people seeing our videos, but we've had more people call us and say, I read your reviews, and we've got some great detailed reviews. And the people will call us up and be like, you're the company I need to hire based on what these other people have had to say. And the reviews have been so powerful. And you talk about, I can't say they're easy to get, but you've got to work it. And Mike and Hal keep me on it every day, every week, every month. What are we doing to get more reviews, more reviews, more reviews? It is essential for some of this growth we've had. Those 5-star reviews have been amazing.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that I taught you, Ben, and I'm going to tell people here verbally, when you go to any search engine, whether it's a cell phone or not, if you can put in Ben's Pest Control Florida, those 4 words, you dominate the first page of Google. And it's amazing how many our clients, and I think when we met, you go, what's a SERP term? Well, it's educating the market how to find you. That's all it is. And of course, one of the things that I'm looking at you right now, you got 87 reviews. Then I want by September 1st or October 1st. I'll give you October 1st. Let's break 100. We're 13 away. Let's break 100. It's reviews is just one of those little things. It's just one of those 1,000 little things. And you just have to keep dotting I's and crossing T's and practicing your elevator speech and implementing all these little things. And like I said, you are our star pupil. That's why you're on our show, because and to hear that you've doubled your business in such a short amount of time, couldn't be happier for you. So
you're talking about you doubled it in 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you don't know where it'll go if you stay on the course. It's because I'm not going to name names, but we had somebody who got disinterested, didn't want to do it anymore, and it went away a lot. It went away slower than he built it, but it went away because if you don't focus on the reviews, you don't focus on the marketing, you don't keep all these 1,000 little things up, somebody will take your place if you don't do the right things. So I tell you what, it's 40 minutes. So this has been a great show. Ben, we could almost have you back as another guest sometime. But why don't you just give a little closing statement of what you would want people to know about your experience of building your business? Because you had been in business for a long time, but our relationship is, like I said, maybe under a year, a little over a year. Just close it, wind it up here, and then we'll close out the show so Hal can get to his client.
Okay. Well, I'll wrap it up with this. You talk about being a one-man operator, and having been a one-man operator for 16 years, it's great, but no matter what you do, you always have clients that are going to, I'm sorry to say that some of them are going to pass away. Some of them are going to move. You're always going to lose clients. And as a one-man operator, you want to believe that you're the best and people are going to tell their friends about you, but you will have clients who think, I don't want to share this person with anybody because then the service, or they'll get too big and their service will falter. So there are some people who will not promote you the way you hope they would promote you as a one-man operator. But as far as my experiences go, I mean, like I said, I didn't know this stuff. None of this was in my experience range. So I realized I had to find people who knew what they were talking about. Even you talk about the 5-star reviews. I mean, seeing your references, being able to talk to those people and say, how did this experience work for you? It's like the 5-star reviews for a company. They're super important. And all of these little things have made a major change in our everyday lives. And we can't thank you guys enough.
Well, Ben, it's been great having you on the show. Mike, it's been great seeing you again. This is right now about the only time we see each other face to face is on the show. But folks, as always, I hope you're taking away something. Our goal with each of these shows is to give you some takeaways, things that you can take to heart and go right out this afternoon and start applying them to your business. That's what we're here for. So I hope you will always follow us and stay tuned for the next episode of Pest Control Marketing.live.
Well, Hal, before we go here, buddy, I thank Ben for being here. And more importantly, give Hal Coleman a call at 770-993-0004 or email him, Hal Coleman. We talked about earlier in the show, giving something away free. Hal charges really good money. I'm not going to give out your prices here, but I'm going to tell you something. Hal is a bargain, but he ain't cheap because he's that good. And he's willing to give you an hour of that time to make sure you're a perfect fit. So if you're struggling with growing your pest control business, call Hal. Subscribe to the podcast. Go to pestcontrolmarketer.com. Call Hal at 770-993-0004 or Hal Coleman, and schedule an hour with him. It'll be the best decision you've ever made. And of course, I do the same thing. My phone number is, I'm at mikestewart.live. If you want to learn a little bit more about me, 770-826-3662. And then, as always, you want to grow your pest control business? Well, I'll tell you what, you can't beat the price of this. How to grow a pest control business. How to grow a pest control business is the book that Ben was talking about. That's absolutely free. Whether you do business with us or not, you can't go wrong with this book. Over 200 pages of some of the best marketing, direct response marketing information you'll ever consume. With all that being, Hal, I know you got to go. So you say your final words here and we'll call it a day.
And if you do like to hold a book in your hand, like me, I like to hold a book in my hand and make notes and circle things and highlight things. I just like books. Okay. I just like going and sitting down with a good book. If you want the hard copy, you can find it on Amazon, but it's not free.
With all that, until the next episode of the Pest Control Marketing Live TV show, also the audio is the podcast. Whatever you do, as Hal says, go get them.
Go find something to sell.
Hal Coleman has been active in the pest control industry for over 40 years, including owning and operating his own successful pest control business for 18 years. He now devotes his time to helping other PCOs and other WCOs double, triple, and even quadruple their businesses faster than they ever imagined. Be sure to check out his website, pestcontrolmarketer.com. For more information about Hal's coaching program, you can reach him at 770-993-0004 or email him hal@halcoleman.com. Mike Stewart is known as the Internet audio and video guy. Since the birth of the Internet, Mike has been showing small business owners how to get more new customers, increase their sales, and grow their businesses online using audio and video, now with iPhones and Android phones. For more information about Mike's coaching program and his online training courses, visit MikeStewartCoaching.com or email him mike@internetaudioguide.com.
Google Pest Control Marketer. Grow your business like never before. Call 770-993-0004.